What's going on YouTube? Another celebrity passing. Another one I did not expect. It's especially immediately after Malcolm Jamal Warner and Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace to him too. Pro wrestling icon Hulk Hogan died today. He was 71 years old. Mm. Now, for me, I didn't really watch Hulk Hogan during his golden age. During the 1980s, I wasn't alive then. Excuse me. But I was more familiar with him from his WCW days during NWO, the Wolfpack, and everything like that. I was more familiar with him from then on. Then he came back to WWE in the 2000s, right? And it's so shocking how they're like lately. There's been no news about him being in bad health or anything like that I knew of, because the last time we really saw him on, last time any of us, especially if a pro wrestling fan like me, I mean, you can see the shirt here. Last time we really saw him on TV was on the Raw premiere on Netflix. That's literally the last time he was on TV. That's what's crazy, and people booed the shit out of him. It wasn't that long ago when it happened, but I remember, man. It's like, damn, dude. And rumor has it from like other content creators here on YouTube, they said that some people are celebrating this man's death like it's the best thing since sliced bread. I'm not that type of person. I don't care if I hated you. If I find out you're dead, I'm not celebrating the fact that you're dead. To me, that just sounds crazy, and I'm just not the type to really just hold a grudge. You know what I'm saying? I know how to just move on for certain things, especially if there's nothing else you can do about it. But enough about that. Let's get into this article from ESPN. Pro wrestling legend Hulk Hogan dies at age 71. Hulk Hogan, who took professional wrestling to the mainstream and became the biggest money making draw in the history of the industry, died Thursday at the age of 71. Florida police and the WWE said. In Clearwater, Florida, authorities responded to a call Thursday morning about a cardiac arrest. Hogan was pronounced dead at the hospital. Police said in a statement on Facebook there were no signs of foul or suspicious activity. Major Nate Burnside told reporters. WWE posted on a note on X saying it was saddened to hear that the Hall of Famer has died. One of pop culture's most recognizable figures, Hogan helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 1980s. WWE extends its condolences to Hogan's family, friends, and fans. It said, "Listen, I'm familiar with the controversial things he's done outside the ring. You know what I'm saying? And listen, like I said, I'm not the type to just hold a grudge. I'm not like just staying mad or staying just all pissy all about this shit. You know what I mean? That's just me. This is not. It's not something I'm thinking about like on a regular basis. Now, some people they just aren't as like cordial about it. They're just gonna continue to throw dirt on somebody. Like I personally don't want to do that. I mean, if you did something fucked up, all right, cool. But I'm not gonna go thinking about it every day for the rest of my life or anything like that. I'm just gonna move on and focus more on myself. That's just how I am. But at the end of the day, despite how you feel about his actions that I still don't agree with to this very day, that he's the things that he said outside the ring, what he has done for the pro wrestling business will never be forgotten. There is no pro wrestling on a mainstream level if it was not for this man. I mean, he has entertained people for decades. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate that he went out like this. And the last time he was on TV, people booed the hell out of him. You know what I'm saying? But I kind of understand why they did it. But then again, it is what it is. I mean, nobody knew at that time that that would be the last time we really see him on live TV. Hogan, whose real name was Terry Bollea, had been struggling with several health issues in recent years, including problematic lingering back injury from his wrestling days. Hogan had not wrestled since 2012, but had been in the news recently as the founder of the Real American Freestyle Wrestling promotion and the owner of an upcoming New York City bar opposite of Madison Square Garden, the site of many of his big matches. In 1985, Hogan headlined the first WrestleMania, teaming up with the 1980s TV star Mr. T to take on Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. WrestleMania 1 at Madison Square Garden drew an audience of around 1 million on closed circuit television and is credited as with taking professional wrestling, specifically the then WWF, now WWE, to the national zeitgeist. I think that's what that says. Hogan's grudge match with Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 took the wrestling business and Hogan's career to new heights. Around 80,000 people filled the Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan for that match. The rematch several months later, free to air on NBC, drew 33 million views. Wow. Hogan was in the main event of 7 of his first 8 WrestleMania cards. He was the face and the hero for the wrestling world, crossing over to the mainstream with tons of appearances on top television shows and starring in movie roles, including the third Rocky film where he took on the title character played by Sylvester Stallone, and television, including the syndicated Thunder in Paradise in the 1990s. Hogan won the WWF World Championship 6 different times, including a reign of 1,474 days. Only Bruno Sammartino and Baron Backlund held the belt for longer days consecutively. In 1996, he, with his interest as a hero winning, Hogan pulled one of the biggest heel turns of wrestling history in the second half. I distinctly remember this. Working for WWE competitor World Championship Wrestling, Hogan became the bad guy, leading dastardly to a group of invaders called the New World Order. The heel turn 29 years ago this summer captured the zeitgeist in a way wrestling had not since WrestleMania 1. The NWO, with Hollywood Hogan as a vicious frontman wearing the black and white rather than his trademark red and yellow, breathed new life into the wrestling industry during the counterculture of the 1990s when the audience demanded darker, more adult product. Hogan was up to the challenge, helping WCW beat the WWF in television ratings for 83 straight weeks beginning in 1996, man. That's the Monday Night War, for those of you that don't know. Hogan returned to WWE in 2002 to face The Rock at WrestleMania 18 in Toronto. His character was the NWO bad guy version, with more than 68,000 in attendance were not interested in booing Hogan. They cheered him over The Rock, then WWE's biggest good guy, forcing Hogan to return home to Florida that weekend to pick up his old red and yellow shirts and wrestling trunks. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005. Ric Flair and Triple H were several among wrestling icons to react to Hogan's death on social media. This tweet's from Ric Flair. I am absolutely shocked to hear about the passing of my close friend Hulk Hogan. Hulk has been by my side since we started in the wrestling business, an incredible athlete, talent, friend, and father. Our friendship has meant the world to me. He will always be there for me, even. Triple H says, we would not be where WWE would not be where it is today without the larger than life characters competing in the ring, and a few, if they are any, loomed larger than Terry, Hulk Hogan, Bollea. He was an archetype of what it meant to be a superstar, a global sensation that inspired millions to work. You know, it's. I'm not going to read the rest of that. It's a whole lot bunch of other stuff. But anyways, yeah, man, this right here. I mean, hearing any wrestler die as a wrestling fan, it's like, man, because they sacrifice so much. Being on the road for the majority of the year. There's 52 weeks in a year, and they're doing show after show after show, several days out the week, barely being at home, barely being able to recuperate and relax, because that's how demanding the wrestling business can be. But these people love what they do, and I will always love the business of professional wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what I grew up on. This is something that made my childhood awesome. I will always be the biggest Attitude Era fan. And shout out to all my wrestling fans out there, my subscribers who are wrestling fans, because listen, when it's all said and done, of course, people aren't going to forget the fucked up things Hulk Hogan got himself into. I mean, that digital footprint is going to be there forever. But we just cannot forget the impact he had on professional wrestling as a whole, and how he was able to make it go mainstream so everybody can get paid more money and eat, get more TV time, and it opened the door for other opportunities like in Hollywood, where he can, be in big movies. And that's how a lot of wrestlers make extra money on the side today. They're able to get movie roles and TV roles and make some extra money doing that, because them being on TV so much in WWE or AEW or New Japan Pro Wrestling so much, other, like, talent agencies from, like, from movies and TVs. They'll see that it's like, yo, this person's really got charisma. They really got the juice. We'd love to have them on the show, on our show, playing a role as so and so, or in a movie playing so and so. And that's how they get more of those opportunities. So we can't forget about that either. But some people, they'll just only want to remember him for the bad things, and then because they don't want to let that shit go, and or not. I'm not saying forget about it, but just let it go. You know what I mean? To me, there's a major difference. But anyways, I'm gonna end the video right there. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Were you a fan of Hulk Hogan growing up? Did you watch him during the golden era? Have you always hated him? I want to hear what y'all think about this. Make sure y'all hit the link in the description to my link tree so you guys can follow me on other social media platforms as well as support me directly via Cash App or PayPal. And if you decide to do so, for one, thank you. And you will get a shout out in my next video. You have my word on that. And until next time, peace.